Okay, welcome to Module 6. In this module, we'll be discussing emergencies and abnormal procedures. Let's take a look at what happened to Eastern Flight 401 in December of 1972.
Miami Tower, read Eastern 401, just turned on final.
Eastern 401 heavy, continue approach to 9 left.
Continue approach, roger.
Now I'm going to try it down one more time.
Eastern Flight 401 is on final approach to Miami International, runway 9 left. The nose landing gear indicator has failed to illuminate, so the crew cannot tell whether the gear is extended and locked.
You want me to test the lights or not?
Yeah, check it.
Put your seat back.
Doug, it could be the light. Could you jiggle the light?
It's got to come out a little and then snap in.
I'll put them on. Up to 2,000. You want me to fly, Doug?
What frequency did he want us on?
28.6.
I'll talk to him.
All right, approach control Eastern 401. We're right over the airport here and climbing to 2,000 feet. In fact, we've just reached 2,000 feet, and we've got to get the green light on our nose gear.
Eastern 401, roger. Turn left heading 360, maintain 2000, vectors to 9 left final.
Left to 360.
I think it's above the red one.
Yeah, I can't get it from here.
I can't make it pull out either.
We got pressure?
Yes, sir, all systems.
Put the damn thing on autopilot.
All right. See if you can put that light out. Well, you got to push the switch just a little bit further forward. Now turn it to the right a little bit. No, I don't think it's going to fit.
Hey, get down there and see if that damn nose wheel's down.
Okay.
You got a handkerchief or something so I can get a little better grip on this? Anything I can do it with? This damn thing just won't come out, Doug. If I had a pair of pliers, I could cushion it with that.
Everyone is absorbed by the crisis, so they don't hear the audio alert announcing a change in altitude.
I'll give you the pliers.
To hell with this. Go down and see if that red line is lined up down there. Don't screw around with that 20-cent piece of light equipment.
Eastern 401, I'll go out west just a little further if we can here and see if we can get this light to come on.
All right.
The autopilot has somehow become disengaged. The plane is slowly descending, and nobody is paying any attention to the altimeter.
It's always something. We could have made schedule.
Well, we can tell if the damn gear is down by looking down at the indices. I'm sure
An emergency landing with a possible nose gear problem is neither very risky nor all that unusual. It's an option the captain could be preparing for now.
It's got to be a faulty light. Doug, this damn thing just won't come out.
All right, just leave it there.
Eastern 401, how are things coming along out there?
The controller's inquiry is too vague for the crew to realize he's asking about 401's surprisingly low altitude.
Okay.
180.
Hey, we did some of the altitude here.
What?
We're still at 2,000, right?
Hey, what's happening here?
I've been fortunate enough to participate in many training courses where Eastern 401 is part of the curriculum. People are in disbelief that the Eastern Flight 401 crash happened. People cannot imagine how the pilots got into this situation where they were not even aware of their altitude. How did this happen? Most people are shocked at the lack of technology by the fact that air traffic control wasn't more assertive when alerting the crew of their altitude, and the general fixation on the light in the cockpit. There are so many things that went wrong in that 4 minutes that the pilot broke off the approach and established himself in a holding pattern. We're not going to try to get into all of them, but the bottom line is that no one was flying the airplane and everyone was trying to fix a 20-cent light bulb. There is a saying, and yes, maybe it's a little bit morbid, but the rules, procedures, and best practices that we follow today are written in blood. Thankfully, that's not always the case, but it's a good thing to keep in mind when you want to cut corners. Actually, There were 4 members of the flight deck crew. There was a pilot, the co-pilot, the engineer or second officer, and a technical officer that was returning from an assignment in New York. The technical officer was riding in the jump seat. The pilot directed the second officer to go down into the forward cargo area to visually look at the landing gear, while he and the co-pilot continued working to try to get the light to come on in the cockpit. The second officer returned, raised his head from the cargo bay, and said he couldn't see anything in the dark of night. The technical officer went below to try to help him. Now we have 2 crew members in the cargo bay, 2 trying to fix a light, and no one paying any attention to what the aircraft was doing. When the second officer returned, he looked at the radar altimeter and discovered that they were just a few feet above the ground. The last words from the flight deck were, "What's happening here?" If you're interested, look up the National Transportation Safety Board investigation into Eastern 401. It's pretty interesting. Another interesting crash is United 173. It crashed because while the pilots were engrossed in troubleshooting what they thought was a landing gear problem, the aircraft ran out of fuel. If one reads the transcripts from the cockpit voice recorder from the Tenerife crash that killed 583, you will see that there was a tremendous amount of miscommunication and misunderstanding by the crew of the aircraft that mistakenly started to take off without a clearance. But one of the people on the flight deck knew what was going on. A major outcome from these 3 crashes is the creation of Crew Resource Management, or CRM. The advancements in aviation safety have come a long ways since the 1950s and are truly mind-blowing. Think about it. TCAS, low altitude alerts, ground proximity warnings, and double redundancy in critical systems are just a few. To be honest, safety improvements are found in all areas of aviation. For instance, in the cabin, there are lighted walkways, emergency slides that deploy much easier and faster, and the training of flight attendants and crew is constant and ongoing. Training for all aviation professionals has reached a point that no one would have imagined not too long ago. Pilots train for every imaginable situation using simulators. Air traffic control uses simulators for training and unusual situations. On the airport, surface detection equipment, standardized airport lighting, standardized airport marking. We are all subjected to recurrent training to keep our skills sharp. The advancements in technology, training, and our organizations are keeping us and our customers safer. Studies have shown that the use of CRM, or Crew Resource Management, by both the flight deck and cabin crews reduces communication barriers and problems can be solved more efficiently, leading to increased safety. CRM training encompasses a wide range of knowledge, skills, and attitudes, including communications, situational awareness, problem solving, decision making, and teamwork. CRM can be defined as a system that uses resources to promote safety within the workspace. When we break Crew Resource Management down to its basics, it's a communication and decision-making tool that is designed to reduce potential communication conflict, such as when a co-pilot questions a captain. By using CRM, we reduce the number of incidents and accidents that are caused by human error. Crew CRM training is concerned not so much with technical knowledge and skills required to fly and operate an aircraft, but rather with the cognitive and interpersonal skills needed to manage a flight within an organized aviation system. Each individual must be trained to do their job, but they are also trained in teamwork, to look out for the unusual, but most importantly, to communicate. Yes, pilots have priorities. While the captain may be able to take a minute to assist with an unruly passenger or to greet a curious child, that's not really their job. It's the pilot's job to get the airplane from point A to point B safely. For as long as humans continue to rely on machines to fly, we will occasionally have things break. Sometimes something breaks and pilots are able to manage without that system and the flight continues to its planned destination. This is simply an abnormal situation. If it's properly managed, it may cause us to pay extra attention, but no one is in danger. Other times, there are more serious factors. They force pilots to declare an emergency and for the cabin crew to prepare the cabin for an emergency landing. This is when our communication skills must be on point. A miscommunication could lead to someone not getting the information that may be critical. An emergency landing is pretty routine, but human error and miscommunication can take the routine and turn it into a disaster. Modern aircraft are sturdy. They land every day with conditions that years ago would have resulted in a crash. Abnormal conditions don't threaten the safety of the aircraft if they are addressed, but unaddressed, they tend to escalate. A fire on the airplane is a good example. If a fire starts in the washroom, if it is done quickly, and it can be extinguished, no critical systems are impacted. Now we have an abnormal situation. The same fire, left to grow, can quickly become a very serious problem, threatening the safety of everyone on the aircraft. An engine fire could quickly be extinguished, but we still have a problem. What went wrong that caused the fire? Is there a potential of it reigniting? And now we have one less engine. By any standard, this is an emergency. Abnormal conditions generally don't require an immediate landing, whereas almost all emergencies do. Medical emergencies will vary. People in the aviation industry, as a rule, react to stress better than most. Flight dispatch, pilots, and air traffic controllers almost never have days where we're doing the same thing that we did yesterday and nothing unusual happens. Controllers are taught that we have to remain calm. If we sound nervous or scared, the pilot will hear that, and it leads to an anxiety in the cockpit. Pilots are taught the same thing. A calm mind makes more sound decisions than a panic one. Plus, as a pilot, you don't want to convey any sense of panic to the cabin crew. As a pilot, your first job is to fly the aircraft. Beyond that, you have a lot of resources available to help you make sound decisions. The other pilot can assist with flying or communication. The cabin crew can check a wing for obvious abnormalities. Your operations people can be a resource. Occasionally, air traffic control or even other pilots may offer a suggestion. When the aircraft is stable, let's figure out exactly what is happening. Is it something obvious? Can it be corrected in the air? Is there a chance that the problem can lead to other problems? Now there are lots of decisions to be made and things to review. Do you need to divert or can you continue? Is holding advantageous? Have you seen this in a simulator? What are the differences? Cabin crew and passenger briefings. Those decisions and action plans happen almost instantly. Never be afraid to make adjustments based on new information. Now, go land the airplane. Your operations manuals will specify fully the roles for the pilot flying and the pilot monitoring or pilot not flying. But one of the most important aspects of the duties of the pilot monitoring or not flying is the cross-check of the actions of the pilot that is flying. In fact, this part of the role represents one of the most important single reasons why a two-pilot flight crew is specified.